are going to start on our backs. So come to lie down. And we'll start in a nice hip opening pose. Let the hamstrings have a little rest before we get into them. So feet together, knees come nice and wide. And then let's also bring our arms over our heads so that we're kind of mirroring what our legs are doing. You might rest one hand in the other, or you might just let the fingers kind of touch. And so that you've got these two diamond shapes opening up the whole anterior side of the body. And the anterior is the front side. Posterior is back side. I always remember this as anterior, start of the alphabet. It's the front side. It's the part that leads. So if you're ever confused about that, it's a nice little way to remember it. And so we often are really sort of closed off in the anterior side. And this is because we're hunched over laptops and we're always rounding our backs. So even just in this position with the arms over the head, we're forcing the shoulders and the chest to open. And just notice how this feels. Can you just allow the hands to become a little bit heavier, the elbows to become a bit heavier, and the shoulders? And just notice any other parts on the body that are still kind of like almost pulsing with tension. So you might be still kind of lifting the knees a little bit. See if you can relax in the groin, the left hip, the right hip. Maybe squidge up the face and then let the face go. Squidge up the chest and then let the chest go. Squidge up the ribs and the belly and then let that go. Squeeze the butt cheeks and then let them go. Maybe lift the knees a little bit and then woof, let them go. So just feel free to do that on any other part of the body, front or back side. Just really trying to release and soften down. And then can you start to deepen your breath? So just teasing out longer inhales here. And then focusing on really lengthening out the exhale. Almost playing a game with yourself and seeing how actually long you can make that exhale. How long can you keep kind of exhaling breath out? Can you find any little crevice or corner of the body that's holding a bit of air? And then can you push that out as well? Good. And then from here, just start to walk the feet onto the mat. Bring the arms down by the sides of the body and just take a little windshield wipe from side to side. It's just easing out any tension that might be hanging out in the hips. Nice. And then from here, keeping your left foot on the mat, you're going to send your right foot up to the sky and just roll the ankle a few times one direction. And maybe already feeling how tight that leg is. And then roll the ankle a few times the other direction. And then just point and flex the foot a few times. Good. And then you're going to bend that knee, bring the knee in towards the chest. Wrap your fingers around the back of the thigh and interlace the fingers. Then from here, don't worry about straightening the legs. So I've still got a nice deep bend, but just start to flex the foot. Okay, so toes towards the face, kick into the heel. And now, holding onto the back of that leg, I want you to press your thigh towards your hamstring. So keeping that foot flexed, press the thigh towards the hamstring, and then we start to feel into that stretch. So most important is that you're keeping the foot flexed. So if your foot's now starting to release, bend a little bit, come back into that flex, then press. Good. So can you come back to that nice long exhale? Taking a big breath in and then seeing how long you can exhale. And whilst you're exhaling, just see if you can press and stretch a little bit more. As you inhale, you might take a baby bend, just giving yourself a tiny break. And as you exhale, press, flex the foot, see if you can find a little bit more. And we're just going to do 5 breaths like this. Inhaling, maybe a little tiny release, little respite. And then exhaling as long as you can into that stretch, noticing if every time you can get that leg a little bit straighter. And then just re-bend that knee, bring that leg onto the floor. If you need to take a little windshield wipe or shake out the leg, go for it. And then we're gonna do the exact same on the other side. So left leg comes up to the sky. Don't worry about grabbing the foot yet. Start to take some circles. You can have a nice soft bend in that knee. And then switch up the circles, coming the other way. Good, and then just point and flex, point and flex. And then bending that knee, bringing the knee in towards the chest, interlace the fingers, don't straighten the leg yet, just work on flexing the foot. So toe towards the face, kicking into that heel, take an inhale to prep, and as you exhale, just start to push. Keeping that foot flexed, noticing if the left or the right side is tighter. My left leg, I don't understand why, but it's always way tighter. I can totally straighten my right leg. My left leg doesn't really get there. So we're going to come back to those really focused breaths. So as you inhale, you can bend a little bit, give yourself a tiny break. And as you exhale, trying to elongate that exhale, really pushing into that stretch. And just do 3 more like that. Good. Bending that knee, releasing the back of the thigh, and just take both knees into the chest. Little rock from side to side, massaging out lumbar spine. And then hands are going to come underneath the knees, and we'll just start to take some rocks and rolls, trying to keep your body in the tightest little ball that you possibly can. Maybe playing around with a bit of balance at the top, seeing if you can come and hold, then roll back down, up to the top, hold, maybe releasing those knees. Can you rock up and down and not hold the knees at all? Maybe you can get those toes in line with the knees. If you really want to challenge yourself, coming up into that V position and rolling back. So do it 3 more times. Doesn't matter where you are. Toes might be down. You might be holding the backs of the legs still. And the next time that we come up, we're going to hold this, okay? So coming into your version of Navasana, I want you to push the belly in towards the spine. I want you to really pull the thighs and the belly towards each other. Lift the sternum, so it's kind of going up and on an angle. Toes can be down, feet can be in line with the knees. You might have those released. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross those ankles, roll over the knees, and make your way into tabletop position. And I want you to just start to move. You might take classic cat-cow. You might kind of work in some figures of 8. You might do something totally organic and free, just letting yourself kind of move. But just use kind of the next 10 seconds, the next sort of 5 or so breaths to just move into the body. Forgetting about what you should or shouldn't be doing, letting go of alignment. And just enjoying your body, enjoying this idea of movement. Good. And then bringing yourself into tabletop position. So we are going to tuck our right toe, drag that right toe across the mat, kick into that heel, again, just warming up, waking up that hamstring. From here, lifting that toe off of the mat, toes are flexed, kicking into that heel. Spread the right fingers nice and wide, lifting left hand forwards. Big inhale here. As you exhale, bring elbow and knee together, drawing them up towards the abdomen. Re-extend, finding that length. Exhale, bringing them in. Re-extend, finding that length. Exhale, bringing them in. Re-extend, finding that length, and then you're going to reach around, grabbing a hold of that foot if you can. If you can't get the foot, just stay with the balance. If you can get the foot, you're going to push the floor away, kick into the hand, and try to lift that knee even higher. Looking over the shoulder if you want to challenge your balance. Stay for 3, 2, 1. Drop the hand, drop the knee, sit into a quick little child's pose, giving those hips a stretch. Arms a stretch. And then bring yourself back up into tabletop position. Stacking those shoulders, stacking those hips, left toe tucks, we drag it across the mat, kicking into that heel. From here, lift that foot. Keep the toe dialed down, not out to the side. Spread the left fingers, reach right hand forwards, find your balance. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, elbow and knee come together. Re-extend, thumb faces up. Exhale, elbow and knee come together. Re-extend. Exhale, elbow and knee come together. One more time, opening up here, then bending that knee, reaching for that foot. There's always one side that's easier. Once you get the foot in your hand, you really want to kick. This push and pull is what's going to help your balance. Maybe look over the knee, or over the shoulder rather. Try to lift the knee higher. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hand and the knee. Again, just sit back, finding that child's pose. Maybe coming onto the tips of the fingers, deepening that stretch in the arms. Nice. Plant the hands, bring yourself all the way back up into tabletop. And from here, we're going to tuck our toes and make our way into downward dog. Soft bend in the knees to start, and just pedal out those feet. Feeling into the hamstrings, waking up. This time the posterior side of the body. So we're stretching the back line. Make sure those fingers are spread wide. Heels are dropping down, down, down towards the mat, finding that stretch. Legs don't have to be totally straight. Good. From here, I want you to now start to straighten the legs. You're going to keep the legs bone straight, and you're going to start to take itty bitty steps towards the hands. Now, keep the legs totally bone straight. Keep the palms of the hands flat. When you get to a point where you're like, I literally can't come anymore, you're going to stay there and stretch into the hamstrings. Some people will be able to get all the way to the feet. Some people won't. Whew. Once you find that stretch, stay there. See if you can get the heels down. Legs totally bone straight. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, walk those feet all the way to the hands, feet hip distance apart. Take your first 2 fingers around the big toes. Inhale, look forwards. And as you exhale, you're going to start to drop the head down. Good. Okay. From here, just start to lift the tailbone a little bit up to the sky. Inhale, lengthen the spine. So try to grow the crown of the head down. And as you exhale, see if you can pull yourself a little bit more. Now, remember what I said earlier when I was saying push the thigh into the hamstring? I want you to think about that now. So pushing the thigh into the hamstring, but keeping the belly and the chest connected to those thighs. So you can probably straighten the legs, but your whole chest and belly will come off the thighs. So instead of doing that, keep the connection, then start to straighten the legs or push the thighs into the hamstrings. Very different stretch. Good, release the toes, take the hands onto the floor, walking yourself all the way back into that downward dog. Maybe the hamstrings feel a little bit longer. From here, we're gonna lift our right leg up to the sky. Keep kicking into that heel and trying to lift that leg higher, but not turning the toes out to the side. And you might feel that stretch in the left leg. Look forwards. As we exhale, we're gonna step our right foot between our hands. Drop back knee, untuck toe, look forwards, hands lift up to the sky. Exhale, sink into those hips. Just find a bit of balance here. Lengthening through the back leg. Lift the toes of the right foot and press them down. Nice. As you exhale, we're going to sit back into runner's lunge. So heel's going to start to come off the mat. And you're going to pull left hip back, right hip forwards. Toes towards the face, inhale, find length. Exhale, just trying to imagine that your chest is going to come up and over that right knee. Inhale, find length. Exhale, so you can go a little bit further. Good, 2 more like that. Nice. Okay, from here, walk those hands back, forwards, tuck back toe, raise back knee. Nice and strong, step into plank. Now push into the hands, grow the crown of the head forwards, kick into the heels. Squeeze your butt cheeks and draw the navel in. We'll hold here for 5, 4, 3, broaden collarbones, 2, 1. Bend the knees, send the butt all the way back up to the sky, finding downward dog. Hands pressing into the mat. Start to straighten those legs. Itty bitty steps. Step, 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 step. Keep the whole palm of the hand flat. Come as close as you can. Whoo, and we stay here in that stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, walk the feet all the way up to the hands. This time we're going to slide our hands underneath our feet. So hands come underneath the feet. Toes rocking towards the crease of the wrist. Inhale, find length, and then exhale, start to fold over those legs. Again, trying to press those thighs towards the hamstrings. Head is heavy, keeping the connection, finding that stretch. If you're wearing big rings, this can be uncomfortable, so you can slide a finger out from the bottom of the foot if you need to. Good. Release the hands, walking yourself back into downward dog. Maybe noticing if every time you come into downward dog, the legs are feeling a little bit longer. From here, we lift that left leg high. Toe faces down. Try to lift the leg higher and see if you can feel the right leg starting to stretch a bit more. Look forwards. Step that foot between the hands. Drop back knee, untuck toe, hands come up to the sky. Sinking forwards in those hips. Again, finding your balance here. Good. Squeeze the thighs towards center. And as you exhale, you're going to start to sit back, straightening that front leg, fingertips on the mat. Pull the right hip back, left hip forwards, lengthen out the body, exhale, fold. Again, what you're trying to do is imagine that your chest is going to come up and over your knees rather than kind of rounding the whole body down. So you want to almost look beyond the toes and keep trying to pull that left butt cheek back. Breathing here. Deep, deep stretch. Really try to flex those toes to the face. Nice. Walk the hands forwards, tuck right toe, raise right knee. We're going to step into a really strong plank. Spread the fingers wide, push into the mat, broaden the collarbones. Squeeze the butt cheeks, draw the navel in, kick into the heels, lengthen through the crown of the head. We hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, back up into downward dog. Try to sink the heels towards the floor. Don't worry if you have a soft bend in those knees. Whew, good. Okay, start to straighten those legs. Itty bitty steps, itty bitty steps, itty bitty steps. Maybe noticing if you can get those feet a little bit closer towards the hands every time we do this. Straight legs, palms down, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, walk the feet all the way in. Hands are going to wrap around the backs of the knees, pulling yourself over those thighs. Butt's coming high. Head's nice and heavy. Lengthening out here. Good. Release the hands. Then step yourself back into that downward dog. Good. Okay. Right leg lifts. Kick into the heel. Look forwards. Step the foot between the hands. Drop back knee, untuck toe, but keep the back toes tucked. Okay, so back toes are tucked. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, hands come down and you're going to bow over your front leg. So you're going to lift the back knee. Front leg is totally straight. Good. Inhale, come forwards with the chest, bend in the front knee. Exhale, push into that front leg, bow over the leg, pull the right hip back. Inhale, forwards. Exhale, bow. Inhale, forwards. Exhale, bow. One more. Inhaling forwards. Exhaling to bow. We stay here in this pyramid pose, really trying to pull your right hip back, left hip forwards. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, hands on the mat, step into a nice strong plank. Push, activate everything. Lengthen from crown of the head to the heels of the feet. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push the bum up to the sky, and we're gonna send our left leg high. Good, again, try to lift the heel a little bit higher. Look forwards. Step the foot between the hands. Keep toes tucked, drop back knee, hands come up to the sky. Big inhale here. As we exhale, hands are going to come down, tuck back toe, or toes already tucked, but straighten that front leg. Nice, we're going to use the breath. Inhale, forwards. Exhale, bowing over that leg. Good. Inhale, forwards, bending in that knee, pulling that heart forwards. Exhaling, straightening that leg, bowing over it. Good. 2 more like that. Use the breath. Good. Last one here. And when you come into that pyramid pose, you're going to hold it. Keep lengthening over that leg. You're pulling your left hip back this time. So left hip back, right hip forwards. Good. And then you're going to step back into that plank pose again. Lengthen from the crown of the head to the heels of the feet. Push into that floor. Really, really activate. Can you broaden through those collarbones? Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees. Send the butt up to the sky. Downward dog. You can pedal through those feet if you want. Nice, straighten those legs, look forwards, itty bitty steps. See how far you can get. I've got loads of markings on my mat, so I can actually see how much further my feet are getting. Woo! Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, walk the feet all the way up. Let's just take a really nice ragdoll. So grabbing hold of opposite elbows, taking a sway from side to side, just letting yourself stretch all the way along the vertebrae. And then releasing the hands, draw the belly in, push into the heels, and just start to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Good. Eventually coming up to stand. And just find Tadasana and close the eyes for a moment. Actively press through all of the foot. Grow through the crown of the head. Shoulders away from the ears. Palms face forwards. Breathing here. Nice. And then fluttering the eyes open. Cool. Okay. So we're going to do some balancing, but we're going to use our strap with our balancing. So I think with balance, you need to know that it's 80% mind, okay? And then 20% what's happening to the body physically. I would recommend watching what I'm doing and then looking away, okay? So once you know what you're doing, find something to focus on, a mark on the wall, something on the floor, just something to look at. So we're gonna start balancing on the left foot first. So I want you to take your strap around the ball of the right foot and then take the strap in the right hand. And you can see how close I am grabbing to that foot. What I don't want you to do is this. Okay, this is nothing. There's no challenge there. So try to be quite close and then take your left hand onto your left hip. Soft bend the left knee. Now look forwards rather than down. Then start to rise. You might stop here and you might be like, I'm really wobbly. Try to come all the way up with the chest. Now, if your hamstring isn't there, loosen the strap until you can get those shoulders back. So what I don't want you to look like is this, like hunched over. So make sure that you can let go. Now, notice if you're lifting, I'm not going to do the pose anymore. So just look at one thing. Notice if you're lifting your right hip and kind of collapsing into the left. So I want you to lengthen the left side of the hip and try to get that right hip to drop. Now flex the foot. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, can you use the hip flexor to lift the leg higher? Now, if you're super wobbly and there's just no chance, take your fingertips onto the wall and just hold yourself there, okay? The wall, whatever you can grab. You can also just release that hand and take it out to the side like a counterbalance. Good. From here, okay, just listening, you don't need to look at me. From here, you're gonna open that gate. So you're gonna take that right leg out to the side. It might be quite low, don't worry. Hand again can be out to the side. Notice if you're collapsing or dumping into the hip, can you lengthen out of the left side? Good. Can you lift the leg a little bit higher? If you're super wobbly, just grab the wall. Okay. Good. One more bit of challenge. We're going to come back to center. You're going to grab the strap in the left hand and you're going to see if you can bring your right hand behind you. Twisty wisty. See if you can lift the leg a little bit higher. Whoo. Good. Come back to center. And then with control, can you bring that foot back down rather than slamming it? Good. Release the strap. Take the hands onto the hips. Couple hula hoops here. Just releasing any tension. And then take it the other way. Good. Okay. Other side. So if you're right-handed, then this will be easier. So strap goes around the left foot, right hand onto the hip, come nice and close to that left foot, look forwards, not down, then see if you can start to rise. Again, if you're really hunched over, release some of that so that you can stand up nice and tall. Right hand can come out to the side. You can grab something if you need the balance. Try not to lock out that standing leg. So keep a soft bend in that standing knee. Breathe. Good. Okay, without thinking about it too much, can you start to open that left leg out to the side? Notice if you're hitching in one hip more than the other. Try to square out the pelvis. Breathing here. Nice. Gently start to bring that leg back to center. You're going to grab the strap in the right hand. And then you're going to see if you can maybe bring that left hand behind you. If you want a challenge, look towards the left hand. Keep from locking out the standing leg knee. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't chuck the foot onto the floor yet. Come back to center. And then nice and slowly, nice and slowly, nice and slowly, take that foot down. Good. Release the strap, hands onto the knees. Let's do a few more hula hoops. Woo, just to release any tension that you might be feeling. And then we just go the other way. Nice. Good. Good. Shaking out the feet. So we're just going to do a little quad stretch and then we're going to come on to our bum. So if balance is bad, just grab a wall. That doesn't matter. So what you're going to do is lift your right leg, grab your foot. Okay. So lift your right leg, grab your foot. Then from here, try to align the knees. So if your knee's out to the side, try to bring it down and try to get the knee in line. So your knee might be forwards, try to get it in line. Then once you're here, start to lift the front of the pubic bone up as you pull the foot towards the butt. So you're just lifting the pubic bone as you pull the foot towards you. Good. Hold for 5, 3, 2, 1. Release that foot. We'll just go straight to the other side. Okay, you might have that knee out to the side to grab the foot, so then drive that knee down. Try to align it, and then start to lift the pubic bone as you pull the foot. This is going to elongate the hip flexor. So normally we have our butt kind of shooting behind us. You're just trying to change that up, coming into a posterior tilt. So the front of the pubic bone lifts. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let that leg go. Taking our toes out to the side, a little bit wider than hips distance, coming into squat. You can go straight down. I sometimes like to kind of rock from side to side, just sort of easing into it, especially if I'm feeling quite tight. And then playing around with the feet distance. If the heels are lifting, it's generally because you need to take the feet wider. And then hands to heart center. Good. Rather than dropping into this and sort of hunching the back, you want to stand up nice and tall. So stacking head, shoulders, and pelvis. Squeeze the butt cheeks. See if you can open the knees a little wider. Close the eyes. Big inhale through the nose. A nice slow exhale. Good. Do 4 more like that. Big inhale. Nice slow exhale. 2 more. Last one. Good. Flutter the eyes open. Hands behind you. Bring your bum onto the mat. Once the bum's on the mat, you might take a little windshield wipe just to release any tension that you're holding in the hips. And then from here, straighten out those legs. And we're going to take a really floppy Paschimottanasana. So no engagement in the legs whatsoever. And just round yourself over those legs. Let the head go. Let the spine round. Just releasing everything here. Nice. And then look to the feet. You're going to grab a hold of your toes and you're going to start to bend your knees and bring your heels in towards you. Now, if you're close to the back of your mat and you just want to scoot up a bit, go for it. And then you're going to lift the heels off of the mat. Look at one thing, balance. And then you're going to see how straight you can get your legs. You might look more like a bit of a happy baby, or you might be able to totally straighten those legs. Then you're just going to go for it. You're going to rock back. And then you're going to try to rock all the way back up into this seated position. Might not be the prettiest thing in the world. Just see what happens. We'll do about 5 of them. If you come into like this kind of position, hold it, then see if you can straighten the legs. Try not to use too much momentum because you will just rock yourself all the way forwards and you'll slam the feet down. Use the core. Nice. Do 2 more. Wee, come on. Use that core, use that core. Good. And the next time that you roll onto your back, coming all the way down and grabbing hold of those knees, just taking a gentle rock from side to side. Good. Place the feet onto the floor and then send your right leg up to the sky. Point and flex the foot a couple times. Roll the ankle. And then bend the knee in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers. Flex the foot. Then start to straighten the leg. And just notice, reflecting back to the very first time that we did this, how much easier it might be. Can you get the leg straight? Can it get closer to straight? If the leg is straight, can you start to pull the whole leg in towards you? And just taking a couple more breaths here. Good. Then re-bend that knee and you're just going to let that leg come all the way down onto the mat. Left leg comes up to the sky. Point and flex the foot a couple times. Roll the ankle. And then start to bend that knee in towards the chest. Interlace those fingers. Flex the foot first. Then start to kick into that heel. Finding that stretch. Breathing deeply. Pulling the thigh in towards you. Nice. And then just release that leg, let it go. Bring the arms over the head. Interlace the fingers, flip the palms. Take a big inhale as you point the toes, stretch the fingers, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Hold the breath at the top. See if you can hold the breath for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Open the mouth, letting it all go. And then just let the toes flop away from each other. Maybe giving them a little rock from side to side. And then release the hands, bringing them down by your sides. And then just lift the upper back slightly and tuck the shoulder blades underneath you. And again, if there's anything that you want to tense and then release, work through the body doing that. Just so that you can feel the muscles and the body just let go entirely into your Shavasana. And just eventually allowing the entire body to be heavy. There's nothing else that you need to do. There's nowhere else you need to be. We just simply download and store all of the hard work that we've just done. Just slowly start to deepen your breath and really marinate in this moment, this transition. Marinate in those little electric sparks as you begin to kind of resurface from your Shavasana. Really enjoy those moments as you start to wiggle in your fingers, wiggle in your toes. Just really feeling into the body, these sensations of movement. Then just take a nice big stretch, maybe a starfish stretch. So arms and legs a little bit wider than they are in Shavasana. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. And then just gently roll yourself over onto one side, maybe using the bottom arm, the bottom bicep as a pillow, letting the head rest there. And just feeling quite safe, quite secure, quite connected to yourself, becoming aware of the four walls around you once more. And keeping the eyes closed, just gently pushing the floor away as you rise into a comfortable seated position, letting the hands rest on the knees, lengthening through the crown of the head, and just taking a moment to notice any small, any subtle changes in body, in mind, in breath. And then we take a nice big inhale, reach our arms high to the sky, palms come to touch. And then we drop our thumbs to the space between the brow for kindness and thoughts, to the lips for kindness and words, and then to the heart center for you to all carry kindness, compassion, and action through the rest of your day. Opening the eyes. Well done. Namaste. Well done. Hopefully I didn't kill you. And also hopefully you started to feel the difference as we went, the like seeing and feeling